Sexy. We are back with some more of First Victories. All right, we're into the second scenario of the Battle of Rolica. Okay, some people have been trying to help me pronounce it. Even got a gentleman from Portugal trying to teach me how to pronounce it. So, all right, so in scenario one, which I failed dramatically as the French, of pulling off of this position, we got to about here where you see this back line of British troops are, before they took a step loss, and that pretty much was it for the French. All right, so in real environment, in history, Delaborde did his job up on the hills to the left of Rolica, and then he fell back to his position, much stronger position back here, just above the scrub behind the town of Colombiera, and just much better terrain. All right, so this is where this scenario starts. And we are, this time, I am using the solo assistant for the British completely. Okay? So you have, for the both sides, depending on which side you're playing, you have these command cards, okay? And the command cards will give you different kinds of functions. Now, one of the things that happens is during each turn, you roll for the number of orders your side's going to receive. Now, when you're using these command cards, you're going to put them down for every leader or for every formation that's on the board that has a leader. You're going to shuffle these cards up together, and then when you're issuing orders, you're just going to start. You're going to take the top one, you're going to flip it over, and then you're going to roll. Now, let's say that the British only had one order for this turn. All right, so you would roll, and if Wellington rolled between a 0 and a 6, he would have an order to assign, either attack or reserve, depending on what he rolled. Well, depending on his proximity to the French. But let's say that Wellington rolls a 0 on a 10-sided dice, so he places an attack order on himself. And any of the non-attached units that fall under him will be in an attack mode. All right, they'll be in an attack order. Everybody else, since you only had one order to give, there's no sense in going through the deck. Everybody else will get a none order. All right, they won't get an order, so they'll be able to, take their actions. They just won't be able to assault and assault or charge with cavalry. They can still move. They'll still be able to fire and all the other stuff. And then for the French, of course, you just if I'm playing the French is in this one here. So, and I probably should have played the Brits in this one, but I'm playing the French in here, and we got one order. Well, I just give that order to Delaborde, which is an attack order, and then all his brigades will, as long as they're in command, they'll be under that attack order. I only put them in attack order in case an opportunity to assault something at a good advantage gives it, shows itself. All right, so in the first turn, the objective is to damage these French. Now, the French, one of their conditions is to get off the map, just like in the last game, they had to get off here. Well, now they get off down this road, but they can't start executing that move until 2:20 in the afternoon. Now, at 2:40 in the afternoon, the Brits are going to get a bunch of reinforcements right here. They're going to get, it looks like 2 full brigades and some attached units. So at 2:20, if the French can, they need to start moving to get off of here. So I drew the orders, or rolled for the orders. The Brits got 1, and the card that actually got the order signed to it was the Portuguese units. All right, this is their country, but these troops are not as well trained as the British troops are. And of course, at this time, I'm not sure how well trained the British troops are. I mean, they're probably one of the better fighting forces in the world at this time, but they're not. Neither them nor the French troops that are over here are super soldiers. So they drew a reserve order, so they literally had to wait for the French turn, and then they moved in the reserve movement segment of the French player's turn, and they closed the gap. Now, artillery, actually getting to use the artillery this time. We got batteries that have been able to fire. They've had disruptions, okay? Here, this battery actually, I don't think the French artillery only have this one battery sitting here. But the Brits have 1, 2, 3, 4, and they got some more back here that'll come up will be up here in the firing line here before long. And you go through your fire phase, and if you're the phasing player, you fire all units that can fire and artillery, so it's all units. And then the opposing player, the non-phasing player, he gets to return fire with artillery. It's not one of these things where if a cannon shoots at you, your cannons have to shoot back at that cannon. It doesn't say they can shoot at whatever they want. Now, we're using the command or the action cards for this. I'm going to give you an example here. So when a formation or an unattached unit, all right, so let's say, all right, we want to fire this artillery piece right here, okay? So we would flip a card over, and then you would go to the fire and target selection, and you would go through your priorities. All right, target is artillery, so that's priority number 1. So can this guy shoot at an artillery piece? Well, yes, he can. He's got one in sight using the little, oh, I got them laying around here somewhere. The little range thingies here that they provided with the game, okay? So he's got an artillery battery that he can shoot at, so that's where he has to shoot, all right? If that artillery wasn't there, then if it was no artillery, then he would go to the next one, would be closest target. So then he would go to the closest target, all right? And you'll notice you have them for movement, and then you have them for close combat target selection, all right? So those are your actors now. And they say it, the notes in the game say it that, you know, the solitaire bot may not make the best decision. Sometimes you just got to use your head a little bit. Maybe you have to fudge it to make it make more sense. So far, I'm okay, other than the Portuguese getting the only order and then going into a reserve status, okay? But, okay, so you've got something there in the command cards and in the action cards where you've got fog of war for your opponent. So you can play opposed. Now, I'll give you more details on that once I play the scenario out. So the scenario is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 turns long. All right? It's not painstaking to play a turn. I get faster with each one that I do because I'm starting to understand how things work. You know, one of your biggest concepts in this game is skirmishers, okay? Definitely SCD you're going to get much larger firepower. Some of the skirmishers, like these French ones sitting over here, SK2, because of the little subscript number here of 2, they can put out 2 strength points of skirmishers, all right? So when they fire, the skirmishers will be the ones firing with a strength of 2, okay? Plus skirmishers they can shoot out 2 ranges, plus they don't have line of sight issues like regular units do. This scrub stuff here does not block line of sight. That does, woods does, elevation does, but the scrub does not. So this unit here, I can't remember what happened to him. Oh, he got disordered just from movement because he changed formation. Okay, or he entered, he moved more than, you have a chart that tells you if you move so many movement points in this formation, you're going to roll for a morale check. So you have morale checks, like I say, again, I've said it before, morale check is the major base for this game, and it works. It works very well. I'm having a good time playing this. I haven't sat down and played any today or yesterday, but I did play some. I think it was Thursday night. I think it was up to like 2 a.m. Thursday night on a work night, having some fun with this, getting it set up to play this second scenario. I am having a good time with this, and I haven't been into a Napoleon game in a while, other than some of the OSG stuff I played, the 1 or 2 scenarios now, which is just a completely different system. And I've had so much fun with this that I haven't even touched the Napoleon, the Battle of Nations one over here that you can play 3 turns in 5 minutes. So, but I need to get back to that. But I'm having a blast with this game here. All right, so this is first Victories. We are getting ready to start the second turn in the second scenario for Rolica. And Delaborde is in his position, and Wellington is on the attack. Let's see what happens. Talk to you soon.